Join leading psychics Tracey Lee and Mary King as they share the stories we all want to hear and connect us to the other side.
Hi, I'm Mary King.
And I'm Tracey Lee.
We've decided to investigate a more local murder, something close to home for us. We're looking into the death of Fred Fisher.
Fisher's Ghost. Fisher's
Yes,
Ghost.
yes.
We love Fisher's Ghost
We
Festival.
love ghosts. Yeah. So there's always been a conjecture over who murdered him. What happened was, what we know is that he was being trialled for a knife fight with another man, which he got off from. So the question is, did that man kill him, or did the man who he signed his properties over to kill him? So before he went into this trial, he decided to sign these properties over to this person in case he was convicted. So we have two major suspects, and everything points to William Brooker, the man who he'd attacked. But I personally think it's George Worrell, the one he signed the property to.
I think that there was something.
Yeah.
Well, I feel that with this, you know, like obviously it's back in the 1800s, but I feel that there'd been toing and froing between these two people.
Yes.
And and because they're saying, oh, he went back to England. He didn't go back to England.
Exactly.
He did not leave Campbelltown. He's still in Campbelltown somewhere.
Very much so.
And that's why there's all these ghost tours about Fisher's ghost, because he's still here, because it's never been fully investigated or...
That's right.
Or, I guess, different errors and all the rest of it. But I feel like it's the other. I feel like he signed the property over because he was scared of something. I think he's been threatened.
Yeah.
And then he signed the property over and then he's disappeared.
Yes.
How convenient.
And I think to trust that guy was the biggest mistake. But what I find funny is he was living with him. So, he's signed the property over to him. He's gone to court with this guy. He gets off on a light sentence with the other one. I just don't think that other guy really had the balls or the fight power to come after him. No. I feel like he's gone, okay, that's all it is. And over a knife fight, it just doesn't seem like enough motive. But this other guy, him having lived with him and then to turn around and say he's gone to England, it doesn't make any sense.
He's not left, has he? And I think too that I feel like no one talks about that other bloke. We all talk about Fisher, what's his name?
Yeah, George Worrell, and
we talk about Fred Fisher. We never talk about there's three in this party.
Yes.
There's three that's come to this party, and I feel that the one, like there was documented historical fact that he was charged for the knife.
Yeah. Then
there's historical fact that he signed his property over to George Worrell, and then he disappeared.
Yeah.
Never to be seen, heard of again. So they're saying he went back to England. There's some skullduggery gone on there between those three for whatever reason, and I feel that Georgie baby has a big part in this.
I think so.
So it's just ironic that we're talking 2024 and no one knows what happened to Fisher. But there's all these ghost tours and there's this celebration of, the Fisher's Ghost Festival, all based around him. And that Fisher's Ghost Festival started in 1956. But no one's gone, Jesus, why have we got this Fisher's Ghost Festival?
Yeah, exactly. Let's investigate this further. Let's find out what happened to him. And there's a total lack of DNA. And it's funny because when I see him, through mediumship, he's not a very attractive man.
Jesus.
He's not pretty at all. He's short, very unkempt.
He's short.
Yeah, he's short. And he's smelly.
Yeah, he's
he's not a kempt man. And he shows me at the time of his death being very drunk, like being very intoxicated. He showed me leaving a bunch of people. Yeah, it's like
they're at a pub.
A chip on his shoulder.
An inn.
Yeah.
Where's Fisher Ghost Festival?
Well, he built an inn apparently or something. Like he came into incredible, like he really made a lot of wealth for himself.
There's an inn, isn't there?
Yeah.
There was an inn that was built.
And that's where this fight took place. So that's what this fight took place over with this other William Brooker guy. Apparently Brooker built the inn for Fisher or something to that extent.
And there was money outstanding or something like that.
Something like that. I feel it was over one of those stupid fights. I feel like, I don't know if he's Irish,
alcohol,
but I get that,
temper.
that Irish temper, that mentality. And I just see there's that fire there. It's over something so stupid.
But I feel the other bloke
just watching and quiet.
Sitting in the corner, just watching, just sitting there having I'm going to say beer, but it's probably ale, whatever they have. But I see him watching and taking advantage of this situation because I feel like it was an opportunity.
Absolutely, and I see him like lurking in the bushes, literally.
Yeah, and
I can
like
see
waiting
a fence.
outside. I can see a fence out. I can see the inn. I can see a road. I can see a fence. I can see that this has happened on this road, whatever this dirt road is. And I think when this has happened, I think there was a group of people watching. That's why he got convicted so easily.
Yes.
But I feel like Georgie Baby was just sitting back and taking advantage of the whole situation.
Going, I'm going to have 4 properties in my name.
Yep.
It's all mine.
Yep.
And the fact that this other guy has been in a thing with him, it makes it look like he's the suspect. So, but the thing is, what I did get from Fred is that the other guy had an alibi, and that's what George wasn't counting on.
Yeah,
It's almost like he tried to set the other guy up for it, but he showed me that William Brooker had such a strong alibi that night because he showed me dying the night. He showed me that there's no way they could have convicted him for the murder. And I think George Worrell was banking on the fact that they'd go, okay, this is a vengeance crime, let's look to Brooker. But that's not what they did because he was so, well alibied. And that's where George Worrell's come under speculation. Then to cover himself, he's gone, oh no, he's taken off to England.
I think he signed the properties over in fear.
Yeah, well, I think it was fear that he was going to get persecuted or go to jail, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to lose them again. Yeah. If I get off, give them back to me. And I don't get you're going to get them back. Because that's what I feel the conversation is that's gone down. He's moved in with George and he's gone, okay, look, I'm off the hook now, that's all done, sign it back to me. And this guy's like, why would I sign it back to you? And it's the thing you've got to remember, like, they're hardened convicts at the end of the day. I know that they had their papers of leave and that sort of thing, but they come from that hungrier criminal mentality. And I'd be curious to know what George Worrell got convicted for, because I feel like it's more than what it's down on paper. Like, I just thought this guy's there's a more criminal side to him there is to Fred.
It's almost like it's a gang.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's more than one, and I feel that he was... it's like he's like a little Aussie mafia. He brings everyone in, he feeds them up, he looks after them, and then they all do his will. Because I feel that Fred owed him because he looked after him, because I feel...
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it's like, I don't need him anymore. Well, let's say he's gone back to England, but I'll take every bit of property that he owns.
Or is it even that Fred was the head and George took over?
Could have been.
Like when Fred was convicted of that knife fight, George has gone, here's my chance now to be the head, because Fred owned so many more properties than George did. Like, he had 4 different properties.
Very much a gang type mentality, though, isn't it?
And I've never seen that before. You're spot on.
I just got shown that. And I don't know. I've got a lady talking to me.
Oh.
And I hear the name Elizabeth, which is a very generic name, but let me just tell you.
Go for it.
I just see she's talking about this. It's like she's sitting here saying, no one's looked outside this little square. No one's looked. The history books have said he's gone back to England. Yeah. She said, and she's telling me he's buried. He's buried on the property. He's buried on the property. And, back then, very different to what it is today. You would never find it today. But I feel like he's buried somewhere, and I feel like there was more than one person involved. Yes. And I feel that whether it's Georgie Baby or whoever it may be, but there's definitely something... Because Campbelltown and Macarthur has a very dark past.
It does. And the thing is, it's small town community. So like you said, how could other people not know? Obviously, people were being quiet. That makes sense.
They knew. I mean, we digress, but we look at Camden, for instance. John MacArthur's wife, mate, if you go down the main street of Camden, every pub is on the right-hand side. Yes. Because she wanted to walk on the left. And she didn't want people to know that she didn't want to be associated by people in the taverns or whatever. So there's very much an element of that with Campbelltown and Camden and all of those.
And that pub culture and that dark side,
And back then you put everything under the mat, didn't you? Like we all know. I mean, now we have more police, but back then the police were just, I'll give you £5 and you can disappear.
Yeah.
So I do feel like the constabulary knew part of this. I've got.
And I go, is it too hard basket? Because I see quite a tall man who's charged with the investigation of this, and I just see it's like a too hard basket. You know, it's like, well, they're all just trouble anyway. Let them sort themselves out. It's
Pretty
like
much.
if he's gone, he's trouble anyway. You know, it's almost like a survival of the fittest thing. It's like, well, they're all going to do themselves in anyway. Who cares? And there wasn't really a disrupt in the community when Fred passed. That's what I get. I don't see people going, oh my gosh, we miss him, or where is he? He shows me he was quite an unpopular person.
He was nasty.
Yeah, I don't see that anyone liked him. Because I'm like, why haven't they looked into your death? He said, no one liked me. I said, okay.
No, there is a nastiness about him, but I feel like, obviously it was a tougher time.
And he was a drunkard.
Yeah,
He showed me he was a drunkard.
And he's really gruff.
Yeah.
And I don't think George was as bad as him. I think George had an element about him that was quite pleasant.
Yes.
But I feel like he was darker.
I think he was much darker and much more manipulative, but on the surface, much more tolerable.
One of those people that he could be an ex-murderer and he'd smile at you and you go, oh, he's all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about him, he's all right.
Whereas, but I feel like he's also like a bit of an introvert as well. I don't feel like he was as social. So whereas I see Fred at the pub all the time or deal with people, George does it when he has to. And it's like what you said, you nailed it, where you're like, you know, he sits in the corner. He's not that guy who's involved with everyone or doing that. I feel scared of women. I feel scared of people. Whereas Fred shows me he couldn't get anyone if he tried because he was just so gross.
It's just, I'm looking at his teeth.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
He's smiling and his teeth. I mean, I know it's different. I know, I know we can go, oh yeah, they've got that from the history books.
No, but he was particularly unkempt for his time.
Yeah, very much.
It was more than the usual unkempt.
And he had money.
Yes.
So I
feel
like
of it.
The money was there, but he just didn't care so much about all of that. So anyway,
he was a brawler, and I feel like he picked fights all the time. He said to me,
loved it.
Yeah, he really enjoyed that. And you know, you think that he would learn. I think that trial got him a little bit scared, but I don't think enough to stop his nature, because even up to his death, I just feel like he was a bit of a bastard, are the words he gives me. And he showed me that no one cared. It was a thing of, oh, look, thank God he's gone.
Yeah, well, obviously there was no investigation, was there? Because they said, oh, he went back to England.
It's like it's a relief that he's gone.
I actually thought that if you came over here as a convict,
you couldn't go back. Exactly.
So how could he have gone back? He wasn't a pillar of society.
No.
So I don't know that he could go back, you know. I feel like he's not gone back.
And no one cared. And I asked why, though, the creek? Like, why does he always appear at the creek? Because obviously, you know, you say he's buried on property, and I'm with you on that. I don't believe he's buried there at the creek. So I go, what's the significance? Why does he keep appearing there? And I don't even feel like that's where he was killed.
Do you know what, with a lot of these, so you know I used to do the ghost tours at Menangle House. Yeah. There was always a woman that came through with the bustle, like the bum bustle thing. Yeah. I think for them, they stay where they're comfortable.
Yes, that's a really good point.
So I think...
Or where they'll be recognised.
Yes, because I don't believe this woman died at the Menangle House, but she stayed there. But I feel like she was a nanny and looked after the kids.
Makes perfect sense.
So I think that Fred would stay where he was comfortable, where he felt at ease, and where... And, you know, there's been so many sightings of him over the, you know... Oh,
how many years now?
100 years, whatever it is. There's so many sightings of him. I think and maybe because nothing was investigated, he's never found true peace.
Yes.
And he's looking for that.
That makes a good point. And I said to him, you know, why, like, tell me why there. He says to me, it's because that's where people are going to see him. If he's appearing at the property where he's buried, no one's going to see him. Like, who's going to walk past there? Who's going to notice it? It's like, I'm going to pick a really public place. He showed me a place where, I don't know if there's a bridge over this creek or it's like a point of travel.
There may have been back in the day, though.
Yeah, I feel like I have to go over this, or I have to go past it to get to, it's like a point of
I don't know where you are, but I went like towards, like at the back of East Campbelltown, Kent
okay.
I went down there because I can see water moving.
Yeah.
And I guess it was very different back then. I know it's weird and all the rest of it now, but I went down because it's not in Campbelltown as such. If you think back then Wedderburn or any of those areas would have been like horrendous to get to. They're not easy places to get to. So I feel like he's there. I
wonder if that's where his original property was.
Maybe.
I don't feel like he was buried. Oh no, I think he was buried on his original property.
But it's away.
It does feel away. I was going the other way toward Mount Annan, but I feel like
it's the same, isn't it? When you think about it,
it looks the same.
I just went near the water because I see water.
Okay.
So I can see him looking at water, and I'm sure the waterways were very different.
Yeah.
You know, it could even be Menangle. You know, Menangle.
Well, that's it. It changes, doesn't it?
It's changed so much.
But you know, it's out the back of Campbelltown somewhere. It's not like Campbelltown proper.
No.
Yeah. No, I totally would agree with that.
And I see him in the back of a carriage thing, horse and carriage.
Because they would have had to move him like he's drunk.
I see him in the back of a horse and carriage, and I see them going on this road that's not good, and then I see them getting out. There's two of them. I see two dragging him.
Yeah, because it'd be hard for just one person.
One person couldn't do it.
And I think theory's always been it's been one person, but you make a really good point. It makes sense that there's two.
I think there's two.
I mean, everyone hated him.
Did they hate him?
They hated him. He shows me being the most hated man in the whole town. And here we are celebrating this festival for a man who was the most hated man in the community.
But I think it's the same with anything with history. You know, you only celebrate, we only know...
Only what we know.
That's right. So we don't know because history is written by man, by people, and it's all their perspective, isn't it?
And so no one's really written about his character.
No.
You know, we can talk about what he owned and what he had, and he does show me... the way he says it to me is like they were all jealous bastards. It's like, why did he get grants for this or why did he get that land and they didn't? So there's an element of jealousy.
That's right, because the government just handed out.
Well, he showed me he played up to higher powers. He showed me he would, you know, do things for them. It's almost like a bit of bribery almost. So he'd bribe them. It worked twofold. He was shady. And that's how he got that, other people didn't.
It's funny though, all through history, we celebrate the criminals like Ned Kelly.
Yeah, we do.
We don't go, where's some good person, let's celebrate their life. Let's talk about some, you know.
Yeah, someone who caused a bit of trouble. It's like the Australian way.
It is. Look at Ned Kelly, you know, we're all on about Ned Kelly and no one talks about the police. No one talks about what he actually did.
Yeah.
How bad he was. All we talk about, poor Ned Kelly got shot.
Yeah, and we justify it by the fact that his family were raped or tortured or things like that. It's like, well, okay, then you can do wrong too. But even that, though, has more justification. I think he was a bit more of a charmer and a nicer guy, good old Ned.
Probably.
I feel like he was genuinely loved.
But this, I feel like he stole like Robin Hood.
Yeah, he's a real Robin Hood character.
But
I can dig Ned, but Fred, I'm just like, mate, you're outrageous.
Yeah, he's just, anyway, when's the next festival? We ought to do a ghost tour.
We should. I think, guys, stay tuned. We're going to do a ghost tour with Fred.
And we'll take everyone.
He's not a friendly person, but he wants to be famous and he's willing to use Tracey and I for as much fame as he can get.
It's funny, you know, because I was doing these ghost tours. I actually had someone message me last week. I used to do ghost tours. And this one particular night, I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I had... two ladies either side of me and they had a phone and the phone had been fully charged. We got upstairs and the battery just drained.
Wow.
Anyway, so we're pressing buttons. Can't get this phone to work and blah, you know. And the woman with the bustle walks straight in front of us.
Oh, that's giving me goosebumps.
The three of us seen her, not just me, the three of us seen. I screamed, I ran and left them. I was the tour guide, so come with me. I left them, I screamed, I was like a front row forward. I was gone, and there was a bloke on the tour and he goes, where's the medium gone? And someone got out, she's outside, she's seen a ghost. So come with me, I'll look after you all. But
I love that.
Sometimes they just appear, and I've actually got do you remember that show we did at Menangle in the front of the house?
Yeah.
I've got a photo of a woman looking out of the window watching us with a kid.
That gives me goosebumps.
And when I say a photo, the woman who took the photo sent it to me because she was in the audience.
Yeah.
And there was me, you and Alyssa, I think.
Yeah.
And you could see she had the hair up and holding a child.
Yeah.
The room that
Victorian looking.
Yeah, the room that it is was the storeroom.
Oh gosh.
So there was
Which
no
was
one
a former bedroom, because I feel it's a former nursery, because the hair on the back of my neck is just standing up right now.
So I reckon old Fred will come.
I believe he will.
I think he will come.
Yeah,
because
he will, definitely.
Because
he said he will. I said, okay.
He does like to charm a little bit.
Well, he wants to he wants his justice. I mean, he wants justice
he's
because
not going to get it though, is he really? Not not from this side. He might get it that side, but he's not getting it this side.
No, it's that thing of where it feels like a whole town ganged up on me because they're jealous of my money. But, you know, it's a thing too, even when he got off on this case, it is because he bribed someone. Like really, his sentence he showed me was very light. So he wasn't above bribing, you know, judges, police to get what he wanted. But I just see that when he supposedly went to England, I just get everyone's going, oh, well, good. You know, don't come back.
He didn't go. I mean,
no,
was there any return ships back then?
No.
And there should have had to been a log. There would have been a log. Like, this
you
is
have
your
to list your passengers. And he said, what, I went back naked? Like he laughed, like his clothes were... I mean, this is what's so funny. George Worrell did not even attempt to bury his clothes, burn his clothes, do anything with his clothes. This is how much they weren't concerned about being investigated. His things were left there. Like, you think if you said to people he went back to England, you'd at least pack a bag to make it look like he did?
Yeah, but no, he's left everything.
He showed me everything was left there.
Everything's still there.
Yeah.
Not
so
that
I find
he had a lot, but there was stuff still there.
And it was convenient because he'd moved in with George, so it wasn't his natural residence. So no one's going to think anything of it.
Oh, very interesting. So let's do a ghost tour because the
yes, it's coming, guys.
The Fisher Ghost Festival, which is run, and they have the parade down the main street of Campbelltown and all the rest of it. It's ironic that we're celebrating the life of a ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all these people that go, oh, it's not real, it's bullshit,
yeah,
blah, blah,
but too many people have seen him. I mean, I'm
many.
seeing him as clear as day, as unpretty as he is. So
and like, people that are non-believers have
sorry,
seen
Jess,
him.
he's closer to you, not me.
Yeah,
Poor Jess is... you guys can't see Jess, but Jess is sliding slightly to the side.
Because I feel that he comes when he sees people of interest.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it will be that random, you know, people think, well, why don't we see them all the time?
It's when his story he knows is going to get exposed. And he said to me that he doesn't care if people like him or not. He said he actually is not ashamed of the fact that he's not liked. He's actually proud of that. He doesn't want to be seen as this guy who was the most friendliest person. He just wants it to be known that they lied. And it's funny, he said they.
Yeah.
And you, I believe, are the first person out of everyone who's encountered Fred. You know, he shows me you are the first person who's acknowledged that this is a gang or this is more than one. Because everyone else, even myself, have always assumed this is one person. And he shows me you have picked out that this is more. Yeah. And that's what I think this man has been waiting for all these years, is someone to go, hold on.
As a group.
They're all against me. The whole town's against me.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a much smaller town, probably, a couple hundred people back then, I don't know. Yeah. But he wasn't liked.
No.
And I just think, I don't think we'll ever, you know, people will say, oh, you can't validate what we're saying.
I don't know about that, because Spirit have a funny way of doing that, don't
they?
Show
things
like they bring up evidence in the weirdest ways, where you think, you know what, there is no way this is ever going to be proven. But when they want their story known, they want it known.
That's right.
So I think him using us as a bit of a door to get out the fact that, hold on, there's more to this.
I think he just likes haunting the town.
He does. Well, he liked haunting them when he was alive, he said.
I truly believe that it's like a vendetta.
It
because they treated me wrong, and I'll just continue that on.
Exactly.
So all the sightings that you see of him are not always pleasant, are they?
No, he's out to terrorise.
Yeah, it's not like he comes up and shakes hands and says, "Hi, I'm Fred, I'm dead."
Exactly.
I'm dead, Fred.
Drop Dead Fred. I love that show. Oh, it's a great movie, isn't it?
So I don't, like, it's not that. It's like you know, these people are coming here, they're going to pick on me as well, so I'm just going to give them something to think about, or you know, to stop that.
The words I get are like, don't you know I own this town?
Yeah, right.
I get that sense he literally owned the town. Like, I'd be curious. I'm going to go do some research after this out of curiosity, because obviously we haven't researched this. Okay,
no,
this was a moment of, okay, like, hold on, all of a sudden we have Fred Fisher here. Let's just run with this. We don't know a lot.
We didn't. We haven't Googled. Googled, like, all we Googled was the Fisher's Ghost Festival. Nothing.
Exactly. And we couldn't even find the dates for that.
No.
So
So we're just like, well, let's go with Fred, because when
he wants it. He's demanded it.
100%. When we've started to do this podcast, this is about looking at darker side of life, so to speak.
Yes, yeah.
And
The
whatever
truth of things. It's about finding the truth of things, yeah.
And some of them, like Fred, is unsolved. Will it be solved? Maybe, maybe not. But it's just getting that side of the story out. And I feel that the element, I just feel that there's like a group of people circling him, and I just feel there's more to this than, and there's
Meets the eye.
there's a lady here that's raving on about it. It's cruel.
Yeah.
It was cruel. But
I think if it's Elizabeth, she's blonde. I feel like she's there. Yeah, it's like someone who would feel sorry for him. I think the only person who would feel sorry for him.
Only person in the whole of Campbelltown back in the day.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I'm going to do some research and see who owned more than him, because his attitude is he owned the town. He really, from what he tells me, he owned it. He ruled it. And I just feel like people just wanted him out of the way. It's like, this guy's too much. He controls everything.
Scary, isn't
And if
it?
he's controlling police, and it's not like now, like corruption's not. I mean, it was corrupt back then. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's not like now.
No.
It's yeah.
I just think we've got a lot more stories to talk
so
about.
I know. I'm so excited.
And I think we'll pick some older ones, and we'll just keep rolling with them and see where we end up. I mean, we've had the lovely event this morning, and we talked about the passing of missing son. I shouldn't say that.
Well, I think we know he's not here.
Not here.
He's passed.
And we will do more of these. Some unsolved.
Yes.
Some solved.
Yeah.
Just to see where it all leads and
we want to bring truth and justice and peace to people. I mean, that's why we do what we do, to bring peace and closure.
Validations.
So,
Validations.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Bye.